young age, I was, I guess, being around the wrong crowd. Just being with people older than I, and they were doing drugs, so to fit in with them, I started doing drugs. And my drug addiction continued for years. I lost time with family. I mean, I just let years slip by. I got further and further into my addiction as the years went by, and it's like so many years were gone before I could really count for it, and I just didn't know how to stop. I felt death if I didn't get help. So I just finally decided, I was at the end of my road. I had to have help. So I came to City of Lights. It's really changed my life because I've got saved, I got baptized, I'm in church now. I have more confidence in myself. I've got my family back. I know I never made it down this journey, down this road to recovery like I have without Jesus. I mean, it's wonderful now. It's like life I never expected I would have. City of Lights has gave me a hope like I never thought I would ever find.
My substance addiction began when I was 18 years old. I got to college in Mississippi and started smoking marijuana. When I was 21, I started experimenting with crystal meth. Lost all the money I had to keep my own trailer, couldn't keep the power on, had to move back to my mama's house. I had a baby by then. I stayed clean after that until I met my ex-husband. I started using crystal meth with him again. Fell off into addiction to it. It numbed me. I knew my marriage was falling apart. It was really hard for me to deal with that, really hard for me to wrap my mind around the fact that something that seemed so good could go so wrong, without knowing why. I found myself at rock bottom and have found myself attempting suicide. I've lost the will to live. I've lost my self-confidence, my self-esteem. I've lost my desire to be a mother. I've lost my desire to be a daughter, a sister. I dove straight off into nothing but partying, drinking, doing whatever drug I could, smoking cigarettes. I've really lost everything but my life and almost came close to losing that by my own hand. I wake up every day now with a new perspective on life, determined to do my part, to work myself out of the desperation and the isolation and the depression and the darkness that I had worked myself into. Since being at City of Lights, I've really noticed a dramatic increase in my mental stability and my spiritual walk with Christ. I've been a Christian since I was 8 years old, but I've never known what the love of Christ really means. I've never really known what the power of God really means until being here. And it's really inspired me to want to continue walking in that holy way, on that straight and narrow path. I've learned a lot of neat things to keep in my toolbox, as we call it, my coping mechanisms and things to help me through addiction and relapse prevention, and things that I've wanted to know but haven't had the means of knowing, and I couldn't have done it without City of Lights.
At about the age of 13, I found out that I was adopted. My whole life in my head was a lie. I wasn't who people told me I was for the first 13 years of my life. And instead of, sitting down asking questions, I decided to use drugs and find my identity in men. It just kept spiraling downhill from there. I lost a very good relationship with my mother. Now that I look back on it, she didn't lie to me. She didn't want me to know because it wasn't the best thing for me to know. And so when I started in my addiction, I lost a very good relationship with her. I also lost my children. Everything that I thought was mine, I lost. Cars, houses, jobs, everything I lost. Since I've been at the City of Lights, I've been able to sit down and actually dig deep and find out what it was that was making me want to do drugs or want to be with somebody who wasn't good for me. I know now I found my identity in Christ. I know who I am. I know who I belong to. And I just want better. I need better, and my kids deserve better. So, you know, I know who I am. I don't have to look for who I am anymore because I know who I am. The relationship with me and my mother is restored. Every single day, we're on the phone now. My kids, I'm back in their lives. My aunt, who has custody of my kids, is now trusting me to go out with my kids and do things with my kids. I'm starting school for nursing. A whole lot has changed since being at the City of Lights. My whole outlook on life has changed. And I know that there is something more to life than just what I was doing.
I was 12, and one of my dad's friends, he took me on a trip to try and get his, see his kids or something anyways. But he ended up smoking crystal meth with me. After that, it was pot, then it was pills. After I had my second child, I started doing meth. I guess it was more of like a distraction to social drug, have fun, not really care. I've lost visitations with my kids. Whenever they stopped letting me see them, I just slipped. I went straight down, underneath rock bottom. I wouldn't even wish that feeling on my worst enemy. But it was so hard to come back up. I kept going in a circle, round and round and round, and I just kept plummeting. I got down to 94 pounds. And then I ended up pregnant with Brennan. Brennan's like my miracle baby. But Brennan is the reason I ended up here, and I'm going to give that credit to him and God, because if it wasn't for me getting pregnant, I would have kept going in that same circle. I wouldn't even listen to anybody when they said, about going to a rehab or a recovery center. Technically, I turned my back on God, but he didn't give up on me, because if he did, he wouldn't have opened this door to get here. God knew that by giving me Brennan, that was going to be my kick in the butt, all right, Keely, it's time, let's go with this, because any other way I wouldn't have done it. I would have just kept trying to go in that circle to figure out how to get out and not know how to get out, I would have made the sacrifice of coming to rehab if it wasn't for getting pregnant with Brennan. My future looks like normal, like a normal life. To give Brennan a normal life, the things I want to do the same as my past is I want to take him to the lake. I want to take him, hiking. I want to do the things that I used to do with Ellie and Parker, and I'm going to do that again with them one day. Those are goals. I want to thank everybody that here at the City of Lights, because y'all didn't give up on me. And I know I caused a lot of chaos too, because, I got in trouble a lot, blackouts, all that, but y'all didn't give up. I'm really thankful for that, because everybody else has. And that means a lot to me, because now I've got the chance to, really grow, and another chance at, being a mom and to do things the right way. And to prove I can do it, that I can do it the right way, and then I can do it without, a man or whatever, or someone helping me, financially, or a place to live. I can do it. I'm going to do it.
My mom passed away in 2012. I was 13 years old. And so after then, I was just some weird, lonely, depressed teenager having panic attacks. You can't really comprehend that you're never going to see your mom again. I started using drugs as a curiosity. And then I'm I just want to see what the hype is about. And then, next thing I know, I'm hitting the dude up every day. And I just started beginning to lose everything. Sophia's dad went to jail, and then next thing I know, my water's getting cut off, and then my power. I lost my kids. I just hated myself. I hated my life. I hated the world. I was like, I've always wanted to be as close to normal as I can, and I've always strayed so far away from it. So far away from it, I didn't know what was going on. I had a lot of anger and sadness, and I just didn't know what to do with myself. City of Lights, they took me in, and it's given me a lot of hope. Like, I started going to Bevel, and just learning a lot about God. It has really been, it's amazing. I've learned, trust in God and be obedient to Him, and just always trust in Him. Like, there's always going to be hard times and struggles and all that, but if you keep trusting in Him, He's going to bring you through it. And next thing you know, that's 5 years in the past, and you've grown from it, and what to do next time when bad times come and you're struggling and don't know what to do. You just always have to have faith in God, even when He seems like He's so far away.
Substance abuse started when I was 16. I started drinking alcohol. I started using harder drugs when I was 19. I started using heroin with my dad. My dad gave it to me for the first time. My dad also sexually assaulted me when I was 13 until I was 14. And none of my family believed me. And I feel like unresolved trauma had a lot to do with my substance abuse. I lost my kids. I lost my job. I haven't had a job in a year since before I got here. This is the first time I've had a job in a long time. I lost my place to live. I was living in a tent in downtown Birmingham with people I barely even knew. Yeah, I lost everything. But it took me losing everything to actually be able to say that I needed help. So at the time I hated it, but now I'm thankful for it, because I wouldn't have gotten help if I wouldn't have lost everything. Never actually had a relationship with God. Honestly, when I got here, I hated God because I thought that He was the reason that my life was horrible, but that was never the case. I mean, it was my decisions that got me to where I was. Now I actually read my Bible every night. I mean, I read it every morning, but I choose to read it every night because I want to actually have a relationship with Him, because I know He loves me and that He never wanted any of this to happen to me, but I also have free will. So regardless, He's gonna let me do what I want to do, but He wants me to do not what I want to do, because it's not what I want to do. It's not good for me. Forever thankful for City of Lights. I'll be able to go apply to get my kids back after I graduate. I'll be able to get a car. I've never owned a car in my entire life. There's so many things that I'm gonna get to do that I never thought I was gonna be able to, because I stayed here and I did what God wanted me to do. But I don't know. Before, I didn't even want to think about my future. I honestly didn't think I was gonna make it past 22. And now I actually have a future that's worth looking forward to. Yeah. It's awesome. I'm thankful for City Lights. I'm thankful. Because I never would have had any of this if it wasn't for the people here that care about me. And if it wasn't for God.
It began when I was 13 years old. I started smoking weed, and then I started drinking, and then it started to grow real heavy. At the age of 15, I tried cocaine. At the age of 16 is when I tried heroin. It turned into my DOC. I didn't care to smoke weed anymore. I didn't care to drink anymore. All I wanted to do was heroin. I had wrecked my car one day. I had done some Xanaxes, and I told my dad, I was like, and I quit my job that day. I told my dad, I said, I wrecked the car today. I quit my job, and I need to go to rehab. He finds a rehab for me to go to. I went to that program. It was 3 months, and I completed it. And I stayed clean for about 5 months after I left the program. So I was a total 8 months clean. I eventually started hanging out with the same people again once my dad let me out of my bubble. And I relapsed and went even deeper. I started doing meth and Suboxone. I kind of just started chasing a high ever since then. I started going to jail. I lost my car. It cost me a life. I pushed all my true friends away. I pushed my family away. It got so bad that, I wasn't only hurting my family members, I was hurting people that I didn't even know. It was causing me to be destructive and dangerous. I ended up going to jail at 5 months pregnant. I sat in there for about 3 months, and the judge told me that I needed to go to a rehab, and the Lord guided me here. I had planned to bring my son with me, but the day before I got here, I went to jail again, and so DHR got involved, and they told me that I would not be able to bring my son here. It was really hard to stay, but I knew if I didn't stay, that I would lose it completely. That I knew that I needed this place, not because I was court ordered, not because my son needed me, but because Brianna needed it. Brianna needed to heal. Brianna needed to get her mind straight. I have found my strength since I've been here. I know that if I lean on God, that I can get through it. Through the good and through the bad, I will praise Him, because I know that without Him, I would not be where I'm at. I feel like if I ever need help with anything, that the City of Lights will help me. And I feel like my future is going to be very bright and very fulfilling in my recovery.
Passed away July 16th of 2016. It was a couple of months after that. I didn't know how to deal with it. I wouldn't go to the doctor. I used to work for doctors, and I didn't feel comfortable going to them and letting them know I couldn't handle it. So I tried to figure out a way of doing it on my own, and I thought I found something safe, and it wasn't. I tried to do it on my own, and I couldn't. So I found something that helped me through it, and I thought it worked. For 5 years it did, but, I was losing everything I had. Lost both my children, my entire family just shut down, didn't have anything to do with me. I was a different person. Amazing how you can take something and it make you believe everything's okay. It's just a big lie. But you believe it. I've never been deceived like that before, I've never had a issue, so I didn't understand it. That became my God, actually. The only thing on my mind, and so you're going to lose everything when that's all you think about, everything, except that. I ended up getting suicidal and went to Gadsden, the BMU in Gadsden. And when I was there, my mother had already mentioned this place. Kept saying, well, what about City of Lights? The first question I remember asking was, how many bathrooms do you have and how many showers? So they told me, We got plenty of room. You just need to get here. I just remember walking in thinking, this is like a school. And then something spoke to me and said, you know, you need to restart. You need to restart. And I thought, okay, so I'm going to restart, you know? So that was the mindset I had when I came in. I never understood having a personal relationship, you know, with God. I knew Him, knew all about Him, knew everything He did, and worshiped Him, but I didn't understand the personal relationship part. And I also didn't understand, you know, that our identity is not based off society. It's based on what He says about us, and all you have to do is read the Bible to find out what He says, and it's all true. I learned a lot here. You start out by learning who you are, and then you start learning about why you made decisions that you've made. You don't learn that anywhere. I don't know why. I went to college. You know, you don't learn it in high school. I didn't learn it, and that's the most important thing. You need to know who you are before you can find out what you're capable of. It brought my family back together, this place has. And I don't worry about the ball dropping anymore. You know, when things go good in your life, you always worry something bad's going to happen. I don't have those worries anymore. Do not fear is in the Bible 365 times for a reason for every single. I don't fear anymore. And when you don't fear, nothing happens. It's amazing how you can change your mindset, and it's true. So it's changed my life.
I watched my mom get raped at gunpoint when I was 5. So I have had post-traumatic stress disorder ever since, which caused anxiety problems, and I didn't really have too much of a childhood. My dad and mom was both alcoholics, and Dad didn't believe Mom when we told him what happened, and then they got divorced, and my mom got with the worst alcoholic, and I started drinking, and then it led into smoking weed. Then I ended up being a juvenile on probation, so it's been going on for a long time. It's alcoholism, so it's really hard to deal with, especially when you got mental health. You gotta learn how to juggle mental health and addiction at the same time. Then I realized that I needed to go to mental health, so I went to mental health, started getting my medicine, felt really good, and then it's like, I don't need it no more, I stopped taking it, and then the whole cycle started again. Once I stopped taking my mental health meds, I automatically relapsed. I lost my kids, I lost my grandkids, my husband, you know, lost a lot. It's not worth it. I come here, didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. I was homeless, on a binge, and I just cried out for help. I went to a little church, there was a sheriff guy in there, and he helped call and get me set up in City Lights. It was the only place that would take mental health and no diagnosis addiction. So I learned to love my God even more every day, because He's always been there no matter what. It's reassuring, you know. I'm like, just breathe, it'll be okay. Learn to relax. That's what everybody tells me. But I'm from up north, so I'm used to being busybody. Took a year to get my family back. I'm working on it right now. I get to talk to him at least. And I went and seen him last weekend for the first time in a year, so it was really sweet. It's changed a lot. I'm more happier. I found joy again, found peace of mind, and it's okay to be not okay, because it's, you know, I'm always going to be a warrior, because I'm fighting this battle every day. It feels like my heart's getting healed. I'm getting like the warm, fuzzy feeling back, not cold and numb and shut off. And, you know, the more book work we do is the more I learn about, wow, He was really there. He was really there. He did save me, because I should have been dead by now. I would think I was on self-destruction mode. And I'm so glad I came. It's a lifesaver.